Hello, good morning, and welcome to day 103, 104. Don't even remember. 108 days of initiating the core of my being, the truth of myself, the authentic voice, all of it. Almost done. So today we're going to talk a little bit about faith. Because the faith is something that I realized that I've had my whole life. Because when things have been difficult or dark for me, there was never an option to go to the darkness. There was never, even how afraid I was or how bad it got, that was never in my options to kind of succumb to the darkness and collapse, because the darkness is a collapse. There's an emotional collapse, the faith and the collapse. There's like two opposites. So if we look at the contrasts, and that's how I learn is so what is the contrast? So the collapse is when we stop manifesting. So the faith is really a very, very strong manifestation tool, because the faith is what's holding the field. So if you have faith and if you don't have faith, you can see the contrast. If you see the energetics, if you have faith, it's almost like there's a field that is holding the reality. When we have faith, when we know that there's going to be a good outcome. And that is like one of our, so manifestation is a feeling. It's how we view the world and the state that we are in. And faith is a state. And as I'm moving through the pillars that I've been given through my own awakening and through my own revelation, the map that I've been given. So when I follow the map that I've been given, I end up descending into my body, and I open up layer by layer, center by center. And then when I open up the root, the safety automatically flows in, and then it doesn't take that much effort to hold the field of, and that's also what they say, the field of potentiality. And that is a state of mind. That is a state of existence. That is a representation of who we are. That is the frequency that we send out. The frequency we send out is a feeling that is generated by the system and is a direct feedback on how the human is experiencing the experience. And the emotions that are created, so that the human body walks through the experience, and the experiences itself has an impact on the human. So there's like an imprint, an impact. So if you look at a human's like a energetic field, and then you put that field into a lot of action and commotion and life, and that has imprints on the energetic field, and that squeezes us in different ways, and that brings out certain states and emotions and feelings. And because the surroundings are so good at knowing exactly how to form the different energetic bubbles, it's almost like you can turn on a frequency and then everyone feels the same way. So that is what is forming, is we're stuck in different ways, and we're feeling this there's these emotions and feelings and sensations in the body, and that, if the mind gets in the wrong corner, you're steering the whole thing down the wrong track and towards an emotional collapse. And when you have an emotional collapse, it's impossible to hold the field of potentiality. So the emotions are how we manifest and how we're feeling inside. So if we have the connection to faith, and that is where God comes in, then we're holding the field of potentiality in a way that is a little bit unpenetrable. That is why, when you walk with God, that's when you say, I'm protected, because I am protected by my own field of potentiality. And depending on how strong my truth is, my knowing, my expression of that truth, how I can give and receive freely from that truth, how well I stand in my personal power, how well I can connect with my creation and creativity, because that is what's driving me towards my purpose. And then the safety and the connection and the natural nervous system state is to align with the field of potentiality, is to align with God, is to align with creation, to know that I'm safe to walk this planet. I'm safe to walk the planet of Earth. And that is the faith, and that is the safety. And that is how we automatically connect to the field of potentiality. And that's when anything becomes possible. We have fear, but we can move anyway, or we have no choice. We know where we have to go. And for me, succumbing to darkness, or to the emotional collapse of losing faith, has never been an option for me. So I realized, even though I have never had a connection to God, I've always had a connection to God, because and that's what I realized, because I realized that the child, what she went through, it had all these imprints on me, and I've been on way, off my, but I was never off. I was just walking my path in order to find my way home. Oops, bird flew into my window. But it was all right. It flew away. Okay. Yeah, so I realize, because as you're moving through the limitations of the past, the imprints on the bubble of the past, then you also realize, oh, I've been looking at this from a lens, because trauma and negative experiences and imprints, it doesn't only have an emotional effect, it also has an effect on our ability to see straight and to see what is actually true, because our reality and our way of interaction with the world is distorted. It's supposed to be round and nice, and someone's been there with and that's fine. We can say, like, oh, it's not supposed to be like that. Yes, it is supposed to be like that. And it's when we don't agree with that it's not supposed to be like that, that's when we are completely out of sync with reality. So keeping faith and having faith doesn't mean that we never have negative experiences or that we have tough times. but it's also the tough times that is needed to sometimes. I mean, that's how it was for me, that it wasn't until I ended up in really difficult times that I realized and I remembered my connection with God. Back then, I thought I found God through the experience, and that is true because it brought me closer. But what I'm realizing now is I've always had the faith. Otherwise, I would not be here. I've been walking down too many dark paths to ever find my way back if there wasn't a connection to to no, it was not about the connection unless that was already there. And that's a very fascinating, it's like coming full circle, and it's like, now it's getting light here, so the lights turns off. No, but I realized how much I already had that and how that kept me on. It always kept me centered. It always kept me coming back. And I also realized that how many times everything has worked out, and how many miracles there's been in my life. And it's like as I'm clearing the past, I'm also, gaining sobriety and clarity. And that is why when we descend all the way down and we clear the channel, we automatically regain access to these states where truth is even more potent and clear. And the fact that the faith is the key to the field. Because as soon as the faith is there, then there's an energy that lights up. And for me, that faith is a trust in myself and a trust in the world and trust in God, and a trust that it doesn't matter what happens because I'm being guided and led by God. And even if that would mean that means that I need to walk into fire, which it meant for me, I will be fine. And no matter how bad it gets, I will always be fine. And there's a lesson to be learned. And I trust that then that is the path that I am supposed to walk, because I'm being guided and led, and it's always to my benefit, and it's always to my purpose, towards my purpose. But even if I feel like I'm being led, or that it looks like it's going, that it feels like it's going the wrong way, that always trusting and having faith in the bigger picture, and that, we take these different roads, and then that we have to, that's part of life, to go through the darker times, or the harder times, or when the fear or the anticipation or the worry about something, but it hasn't happened. So it's this anticipation of something bad, and how much we are succumbing, and our ability to withhold and or withstand the collapse of the system, the collapse of the belief system, the collapse of the emotions, the collapse of the nervous system. And that is what we're always, kind of fighting or trying to avoid. It's this collapse in the system. And it's okay to process and feel bad, but it's about that faith, if that is collapsing or not. If we can, if we have this, we all know the collapse. It's when all hope disappears. When the thoughts goes dark, when the thoughts goes negative, when the thought goes into worst case scenarios, that's when we collapse. I mean, we can go there, but if the emotions and the energetic field and the system and the nervous system collapses, then we're not holding it. So you can feel the emotion and process the emotion without going into the collapse. And I think that that's where I've been so good and so strong during my detoxes, because my faith in the process and in the communication that I've been receiving from my body all of these years, when I've been really going through the multidimensional detox process, that is, I mean, what I've been sharing about that is, I think that I don't think it comes through like how much work we've actually been doing and how deep I've been immersed in this process, and how, to the extent that I've been willing to detox over these years, and how close I've been to the edge of faith in order to regain my own power and my own sanity and my own body and my own experience. I want full access. I don't want anything that is outside of me to have any precedence or any input or any to influence my experience in a way that is not serving me. So that is why I'm determined to know each and, like every nook and cranny of my own body, my own system, my own field, is because I've been giving so much away. I when you realize, like, okay, I did not have that in order. But there's also like a personal power. There's also like determination or I don't even know what the word is. It's mine. I'm gonna own it. There's just no doubt about that. There's no like that, like, oh, whatever. I don't have that. So and when the clarity returns, it's almost like the reality is growing just by that, because there's always another turn or another layer and that's what the work never ends. And that has been one of the biggest things that I've been resisting. I've been resisting this whole, it's like I don't agree on the setup. Somehow I've been resisting this life a lot, and I didn't trust it and I didn't believe it. And now that has completely shifted, because my state and my access to my being, it's like I'm unlocking. And then that is not, I'm getting to a state where the faith and the trust in that whatever, and that's where you end up when you realize there's nothing to fear. So why am I occupying myself with negative thoughts or emotions, or even exploring different negative possible outcomes? It's like that is just control. That is just that's just the mind trying to protect me. But that also creates an interference with my whole manifestation system that I have built in. And I was like, I don't want that. I don't want that. That disturbs the frequency. That sends the radio signal that my body is sending, like, I'm still in fear. I'm still in, send me the challenges because I'm still like, I'm not in. No, 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 no. I'm done with all those challenges. And that is like, okay, so if my system keeps on asking for challenges so I can grow, and I'm realizing, okay, I can I can stop that. So let's do that, and that's this changing the feeling inside. So it's not the affirmation of, it's not about what you're saying in the affirmation. It's about what you're actually feeling in the inside. And it's not there's nothing wrong with feeling the negative emotions. It's how does the emotions affect the field? How does it, if I have anger and sadness and tears, what's the piglet? No, who's the crier? Anyway, that's fine as long as doesn't reach here, the crown, what you believe, because that's what we kind of send out. So if I don't believe that I'm doing anything wrong, if I believe that, oh, I'm processing and that was tough, that doesn't affect what I believe to be true about the world and how it works, because what I believe about the world and how it works is what creates my reality. It's not what I feel, it's how I believe, and it's the combination of the feeling and the belief. So the feeling, the sensation that we have in the body, and the belief about what happens creates like a radio signal and sends. It's like your now Lucky is outside the door and I closed it. That still gives me a little bit of stress, I have to share. When she's in distress, I don't like it. So I guess that's something that I need to overcome too. So I have the feeling, but I know it's a feeling. I know she's fine. So I know it's only my feeling. And it's okay to have boundaries, to close the door when I'm doing a live session. So it's still I still have the taking responsibility for other beings' experiences. But I don't believe that I don't punish myself for that. I know that, okay, that's something that, I'm doing. But it doesn't have to mean anything. So it's like, if we give meaning to everything, we give it negative meaning, then we are enforcing that. And then we're moving away from what the field, what God, what the Creator wants for us, because we're always led to growth. That's why we are here. So if we surrender to the growth, to the wisdom of life, to the experience of life, instead of running around believing that what kind of job we have is what matters. It does, but it doesn't. It's like, what levels of the experience am I focusing on? Am I focusing on what actually brings me what? It's like, how much am I leaning into how the system works? And that is like, how much am I aligning myself? That's alignment. Alignment is align oneself with how everything works. Or how much am I running around in my own, bubble, disconnected from the field that is always communicating, always creating, like what is actually going on. So when I enter these states in my body, then this information is ready and available. So the system doesn't have much chance to really get stuck in a false system, because the whole being is just like what it's like almost it's like all suddenly I have virtual reality glasses on and I'm in a completely different reality. My whole all of my senses is going to go, what are you doing? Oh, I it's like I stuck my head into a cloud of negativity. And instead of, fighting off the ghosts and instead of, putting all my energy to fight that reality, I could just step out of it. And that is two completely different ways of handling a situation. Realizing that, okay, my head is in a storm cloud, and instead of spending all this time getting a rain jacket and getting inside, I can just realize that, okay, it's temporary. I just get wet. I just walk and I will get wet and I will dry and the sun is going to come out and I'll be fine. But we believe that this is the whole situation and the reality of everything, and that collapses the whole. You just lose the connection of, and it's like you turn your signal off. It's like you turn off the light, and then God goes like, "Where did you go? I can't send anything to you now. You just turned your receiver off." And I mean, I've spent most of my life trying to fix, that, instead of realizing that I'm just completely in the, and that's where we talk about realms, realities, frequencies, paradigms, because we are creating a room with the field of our belief system creates connections together with the emotional state and the feeling state that creates a reality. And when those things turns on, you go choof, and it's like you create a room. Anything is possible. You can create any room. And so, okay, a little bit of anger, a little bit of abandonment, a little bit of this and that. Okay, and then we get that feeling and that feeling room, and then you have a reality. So the internal alchemy is changing inside, different reality, like that, and realizing I have the power to change my own reality. But the key is the faith. And that is what I'm working towards. That is like the lights of the lights. And when the nervous system, the mind, the soul, like all of the different centers and systems are aligned with, it might get tough. It might get really tough. It might get so tough that we will die, but we will still be all right. That is the frequency. That is the level of safety that we are supposed to feel. And when you reach those levels of safety, you start to realize that there's an interconnectedness. It kind of comes with, it's like when the system turns on, we realize this. And I'm not saying that this is going to happen for everyone, because everyone's going to experience it in their complete different way, and they might not even, if someone else explains this experience, it's the same experience, but they just come from a completely different reality. They might experience this in a way that I don't even recognize it. I might even not understand that we're talking about the same thing. And that is the level of humbleness. And it's like, I'm not God. I am God, but I'm not God. I'm the little God. There's a big God. I'm the drop and there's an ocean. I'm here to find out. So maybe I don't know everything. Maybe I'm not right in everything. And maybe someone else, maybe that's possible. And the more you realize that my truth and other people's truth can be wildly different, and that I don't have to think anything about that. So there's so many levels of this reality that we can shift and change. And that is the cool. That's like, I am the creator. Yeah, I can shift and change. But the faith, that's a big one. That's a really good one to have. And finding the built-in systems for the different states is awesome. I'm not saying they are permanent, but they are close to. Okay. Yes, I've been up all night. I was joining my coach. I joined a call late last night, and then I couldn't sleep, and then Lucky was up, and then I had another call at 5, and I woke up at 4. And then we have a podcast recording today. I'm going to look like I'm aged. That's the cool thing about this. It's like, you don't always look like the work that you're representing, which is a paradox that is phenomenal in this. There's just one, it's like when you think you got the hang of it, then there's always a new thing. And that's how it's going to keep. It's like eventually you realize that you got to give up trying to control things, or trying to think that you got it under, I got it under control. Okay, so new things are coming. I know I said that I was going to wait until the end of this, but that's not true, because I saw an opportunity of going deep into the silence when Simba is gone. So I am opening up for an exploration, a 3-day quest into silence with me during 3 days of when Simba is gone. I'm going to go deep into silence, and I'm going to offer a quest that people can join. So it's an exploration. There's no rules. We're just going to explore silence together from the lens of internal alchemy. So we're going to open up and connect different levels of listening and hearing and connecting with the energetic field and the body, and exploring silence together from that space, from that state. And you will be coming into my field and practice silence together with me for 3 days. So this is 28, 29, and 30 of April. And there are 3 live sessions where I'm going to guide us into internal alchemy and into silence. And then between the session, there's a Telegram space where we can connect, explore, and dive deeper. This is going to be super exciting. You don't have to join the live calls to be able to participate in the experience. That's not required. Of course, it's always nice if people can join live. The connection is always interesting in live, but it's not required. So you can join and still be part of the Telegram group and access all the practices. So it's 3 days with silence with me. It's $44. And I think I already have the link in the description for anyone who wants to join. And Sensational will begin on May 1st, 8 weeks together, where we explore the feminine body through the different lenses: the truth, the knowing, the expression, the abundance, the personal power, creation, and sovereignty. So this will be it's the body connection, where we establish the body connection, explore the body connection, and we also do it from the level of the sensations. So we're going to dive into the different sensations and connect with the sensations, because the sensations is the gateway to this whole being. So we're going to start the mapping and the descending together. So for 8 weeks, we will do this work together. So every week there is an in-depth practice, and there's also a Telegram space for access and questions and coaching and connection in between, because this is an exploration, and it's also about communicating and talking about what happens, and exploring and walking that path together for 8 weeks, starting May 1st. And I still have the one-on-one sessions available. 10 first sessions, 33% off. And that is if you have a situation, you have something that you are maybe stuck with, or that you want to have clarity around, or that you want to look at the energetics. Maybe there's a relationship, maybe this is a situation, maybe there's something with work, something that you need to open up or look at and to move through. Then one session with me, we will look at all the different perspectives. I will look at the energetics. We will dissect together, and we will move through, find different new pathways, what perceptions, what ways, how can we shift the energy? How can we move the energy? I will help you identify where your powers are and how you can affect the situation that you're in. And what are your tools, and what do you have available to start to move the energy emotionally, physically, energetically, all of it. So one session can be enough to just move through something. Maybe sometimes that's all that's needed. So the silence is for those ready to quest. Sensational is for those who's ready to descend and connect. And one-on-one sessions are for temporary roadblocks, or you want to have the field of potentiality lit up and see, okay, how can we move through this? What's the gift in the challenge? Maybe you find yourself, maybe you're in a situation where you just don't see the light, and you need to see the light and see the opportunities and the possibilities, and kind of see what are, like, I can't feel the benefits. I can't see the benefits. I can't feel the benefits. So it's like, we're helping through to that next step. Then we have the retreats. They are completely customized. So the way to book them is to just contact us and see what we have available, when is our availability, and what do you need, what are you looking for, and how can we support you. And then from there we create it. But basically, we offer the retreats even for just a couple of days. We have people coming from, flying from Singapore, coming here, just doing deep work, coming back, just 3-4 days. Then we have people coming for a week or 2 weeks, doing more in-depth, long-term, sustainable shifts. So it's really up to what you need. I know that is way less structure, but you can rely on us having the structure. So if you feel like you're interested in just exploring what the retreat would be like, you can look at us as we are like a boutique style healing service. So the way that we operate is by just talking to you and talking to people, and there's no real strings attached. If you feel like the retreat is something that is calling you, then you just talk to us, and you can share, this is what I need, this is what I want, this is the situation, I don't know what I want. And then we will just take care of everything. You just say, I'm interested, and then we fix the rest. And we share what is possible, how the structure is. And it's so easy for us to create something in and around your needs. And you can ask for a quote. There's just no strings attached. You just contact us, and we are happy to share what that would look like. But it's because it's all inclusive. We pick you up at the airport. We organize with any type of meal restrictions or requirements or detoxification programs that you would like. I custom make everything. And then we talk about what the sessions could be like, how long you could stay, and it's very easy to create, because it's so easy for us to see what is needed. So the retreats are a completely custom-made experience, and that is so much fun. It's so much fun. So those are the options. And I'm still recording the internal alchemy process. That's going to be hilarious. That's going to be amazing. I mean, the internal alchemy process is phenomenal. So that's going to be so much fun. And if you like my work, please like and subscribe. I will be returning tomorrow. And what day is it? 103. 5 days, 4 days. Incredible. No, it's 104. Oh my goodness, 4 days left. This is exciting. I'm so excited about our future together. Okay, I have a long day. I'm going to go see what Simba is doing. I'm very happy about doing this. It's 7 a.m. and it's already done. I wish you a beautiful day. I'm going to stop rambling, and I'll see you tomorrow.